It's Wednesday night and you're bored as shit. You've got nothing better to do, and you love your rugby league. So it's time to get online for League of Inches.
Welcome back, you bored as shit bastards. Hope you're all having a great night, getting ready for obviously the Immortal to be announced. So sitting there watching the Hall of Fame inductees. Look, first of all, we hope good luck to all the nominees. I've seen the list, and it's a absolutely enormous list. There are some absolutely fantastic players and one in a generation type players. We're going to get into that debate, and luckily we're probably going to get through this before it's even announced. So everything that we say, especially podcast listeners who will get to listen to this the next day, they'll probably laugh at us and go, you got it all wrong, blah, blah, which, you know what, we probably will, but we'll give you our say tonight, and we'll wait. If it does come up live, we'll present it to you guys as we go through the video. But as always, get involved with the comments. We'll share it around and stuff. When you're watching it, give us a like and that as well, and tag a few people, get them involved, and let's have a really cool show. I think it's going to be a big one. There's a few very good controversial topics to talk about, which always gets everyone a bit fired up. But let's bring the boys in straight away. We'll get a what caught your eye this week, boys, and just how you're going as well. So, Jesse, I'll start with you. What caught your eye this week, and how's things?
Things are good. What caught my eye this week? Honestly, I feel like since the last live show on Wednesday, the whole week's kind of gone so fast that I haven't really paid too much attention to it. I suppose what caught my eye, a lot of Supercoach related stuff, realistically, because that's kind of my attention every day. But Cleary going down is the worst possible thing to happen on the face of this earth. So that sort of caught my eye. The carnage.
Mary disagrees with you there. She thinks it's great when Cleary goes down.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's only one more step before Super League, isn't it? So, that's kind of it, really. The freaking hell, the week's gone fast. I wish I had more to say, to be honest, but I don't really at the moment. It's sort of just been that. But besides that, it's been pretty decent. So,
mate, that's the easiest what caught your eye we've ever had on the show. So I don't know if I'm
just announced it, the 14th Immortal. Straight away. You said it wasn't going to be till later, and they've just announced it.
Have they actually?
Yeah, no, the 14th. Do you want me to do the honours?
Go ahead. I haven't seen it yet, so.
I'll just say, first of all, thank fuck the 14th Immortal wasn't one of those cheats from Melbourne. The 14th Immortal is Ron Coote.
Okay, I like that. I love it.
Yeah,
I love that. I have a feeling because it's so early on, it's still going for another hour, an hour and a half to telecast. I reckon I'll go 2 now. That's my bold prediction for the night. They'll go 2.
Another one. There's 2. 2 Immortals.
There'll be 2 Immortals tonight.
They did 2 last time, didn't they?
Yeah, I have a feeling. That's very early, and they've got to do another whole show. Like, I looked at the telecast, and there's another whole hour or so to go. So, Adam, how's things? Yeah, that's what I mean. It's part 2. I don't know what that is. But congratulations, Ron Coote. We will talk about that. We'll talk about perhaps what we think of some of the other nominees, and if there is going to perhaps be a second, who we think the second one is as well. But congratulations to Ron Coote. Absolutely well deserved there. Adam, how you been? What caught your eye this week?
What caught my eye? Well, I didn't go to the Parramatta game, so that was great. But I guess the Cowboys kind of caught my eye a little bit. The domination of Canberra, making Canberra look like the team we always knew they'd be, bottom of the table team, slowly falling down. And, the Cowboys, I had them in 9th to 12th as well, potentially 13th, and they're going to play finals football now as well. I guess the thing that caught my eye being at a game was the lack of atmosphere at Shark Park. I guess as rugby league fans, everyone loves to get around the grounds, and the only 2 grounds I haven't done in my life are Shark Park and Canberra. I don't go to a lot of neutral games, but Shark Park, every time Parramatta play there, it used to be a Monday night game, or it's a Friday 6 o'clock, or a Saturday night in the middle of winter. And Canberra, I think every time we play in Canberra, I have something on. Like, it just seems to be the time of year I have something on. It's just an absolute nightmare. Never been either. I went to Shark Park on Sunday afternoon for a 30th birthday against my least favourite team of the night, so obviously automatically supported the Sharks, and wasn't what it's like on TV. The atmosphere was terrible. PA system chants, no one joining in. It got good with 5 minutes to go on Golden Point, as you expect, but I'm just really disappointed with my Shark Park experience. or points bet, whatever you want to call it.
What about your parking situation?
Yeah, fucking great. Game changer. Suburban grounds are a nightmare to park at, guys. Everyone knows that. And rocking up to Shark Park, I guess 15 minutes before 20 minutes before kick off due to having just turned 4-year-old child the day before with me on my shoulders the whole game. I want to get some close parking, and there wasn't anything left. So what I actually did, and I'm going to continue to do this, even though I've been told I probably shouldn't legally, I parked in a nearly complete house's driveway. Obviously, no one was home because no one lives there because it wasn't complete, but they'd taken the fencing down. Now, I come back, there was people getting fined left, right, and centre for parking on, the side of the road and parking up on, the footpath and stuff like that. No fine for me. They don't know that's not my house. They obviously didn't know I didn't have a cool $4.2 million that house would have been worth. And, yep, I'm going to do that from now on. Like, Newcastle, Parramatta, anywhere. I'm just going to try and find a house that's almost complete because there's always knockdown rebuilds happening near these old grounds, and that's it. I'm never paying for fucking parking again. If someone can knock down a house near a core stadium, that'd be fantastic because I'm not paying $35 to park there ever again either.
That's
If
insane.
you do get a fine, guys, and you follow Adam's advice, just feel free to send him the fine. He'll happily pay.
Work it out. It's going to pay for
He's on the
itself.
big bucks.
It's going to, if you pay $30 or $25 to park every time you go to a game, and you get fined once a season, so fucking what? You don't get demerits for it. You just get fined. It's pretty much paid for itself if you get away with it for a year.
True. Trav, how are you, brother? And what caught your eye this week?
I had this big elaborate what caught my eye, and then Adam spoke, and I want to change what I want to say. But here, a few things caught my eye. So one thing is, get your head around these. How rad is that?
Hey.
Yeah,
Nice
show them. So there's a plug for that. Sorry, thanks for that, Joel. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, Adam's caught my eye with his lovely bald red head. Love that. It's good to be on the pod with you, mate. I haven't been on one with you yet, so
it's not that bad. It's growing.
This will be fun. This is going to be fun.
Shout out to the Turks.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone wants to sponsor me over in Turkey to come across and get some hair implants. So I'm just waiting.
Advanced hair, yeah. And the third thing, which is where I have just changed what I wanted to say, was what caught my eye is Storm locked away minor premiership, and 3 dudes just got put in the Hall of Fame. So I just thought I might just put that out there. The Storm boys, let's go. Get around us. That caught my eye. We all knew that was going to happen anyways, but get around us. To all the people in the comments talking about us being cheats, we just got Hall of Famers. I'm going to make the most of it. That caught my eye. Done.
We will go back to that. Adam, hold your horses. We will go back to the Hall of Fame.
Just quickly, they actually announced Cooper Cronk as a Roosters player. I see he was there for his achievements with the Roosters, and
That's right.
mostly beating Melbourne in the grand final. Is what I thought.
Meh.
Are they still getting along yet? Do you know, Trav? Are they actually getting along yet? Are they still hating on each other?
Thanks, mate.
I don't. Well, they said they looked like in the video. I don't know where you're going with that, but either way, that they look like when watching them on the TV, then that they were all pretty chummy. But I think they're all on the same table too.
I thought they were all still super salty at each other. Isn't that still the thing?
Yeah,
Cam Smith and Billy Slater. Cam Smith and Billy Slater are fine because they've been coaching the Origin together.
Cronk got his head on and went to the Roosters, won a couple of premierships like a good bloke.
Yeah,
Cam said in his speech tonight that it was good to play with all his mates, and he actually mentioned Cooper Cronk.
And he mentioned Cooper and all of them, and so did Billy.
They must,
and then so did
GI. I thought it was strange that Yvonne presented Cam Smith, but he didn't thank her for all she's done for him.
Honestly, you need to be on a leash tonight because I just feel like you're going to a place.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I don't want to be part of it tonight. Me and Jesse have already said once we get to the Immortal debate, the Immortal debate, we'll sit aside and just let you two go at it because I don't think I want to be part of it tonight.
But on a serious note, Joel, on what I prepared, what caught my eye is I think it's at least a 5-team race for the premiership this year.
Ooh,
I think the weekend just proved to me that it's a 5-team race, and I still think because I think Penrith, as long as Cleary comes back for finals, puts them still in the race. The Storm are in the race. I think the Roosters can beat anyone if they're turned on. I think the Bulldogs just showed on the weekend that they're legit, even though they have sort of been for the whole year. I think the weekend just gone has just really showed that they're legit. And I fear Manly. So I think it's a 5-team race. And that caught my eye.
Yeah, Manly aren't getting spoken about much, but I look at their team and look at their team on paper, and I think it's quite a decent looking team. For mine, I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm trucking along fine. What caught my eye this week is just how quickly the title race can change. We were watching a great game between the top two, the heavyweights, sort of looked like they were holding a little bit back, but at the same time wanting to try and get that win. They thought it was important against the Storm and Penrith, obviously, Thursday night. And then all of a sudden, Cleary doesn't look like it's bad, but went down and just wouldn't get up. He was in agony, and straight away you just thought, hang on, that's Penrith gone there. I don't know if they can make it 4, and it can just change so quickly at the moment. So it makes you think about it. It makes you probably understand why coaches rest all these stars the last round or two, and you understand it because, geez, it's a big blow. And I know they're saying he's back by finals, but we've heard a lot of people come out and talk about it since. And obviously, Cooper Cronk, one of them, being who had the same sort of injury, and he doesn't know if he'll be back that soon. He thinks it might be pushing grand final. Like, they'll need to make the big one for him to come back. So we'll obviously all be keeping our ears close to the ground and trying to hear what we can and find out some news. But yeah, I don't know necessarily about him being straight back once finals hits. I think he might be back and maybe finals week 3 at this stage. So we'll see what happens there. But Adam's already announced it to us. Immortal has been announced, and that is Ron Coote. So congratulations once again on an awesome career. I want to
go back to what Trav said quickly, just about the
Yep.
5-horse race. I think Penrith are done. I think they're out with Cleary gone. I think even if Cleary comes back, he's not going to be at his best, and teams are going to target him in defence. I'm putting a line through Penrith.
That's wild.
And I think even if he didn't go off that field, Melbourne win that game. I know we've seen Cleary come away with some clutch moments. And the scary thing for me is I hate Melbourne. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think they've reached their best yet. And they're not relying on one player to reach their best. They're just combined as a team. I was looking through a funny stat today that came up on TikTok, funny enough, when I was busy working. And I didn't actually realise this, but you go back through the grand finals, you had Melbourne 2016, not winners, this is who's played in them, but you had Melbourne in the 2016, 17, 18, 19. Then in 20, obviously, they played Penrith. Then you had Penrith 21, 22, 23. So it looks like in 24, there's a big chance we're going to have either Melbourne or Penrith in that grand final again. And I think it's going to be Melbourne. Well, it could be fucking nice to see 2 other teams in it and not have Melbourne or Penrith there, because it makes it easy to pick who you want to support when you play those teams. But I think they're done. And I think Cronulla's done as well after what I saw on the weekend. I think I can't put Manly in there because if Turbo goes, I think that's the end of Manly. I think it's a 3-horse race. I've got Melbourne, the Roosters, who I still don't think have reached their best. And I can't go past the Dogs. I think they're getting better and better. 3-horse race. Melbourne Dogs grand final.
Did you say you went past the Roosters, Adam? Sorry, I missed what you said. Did you say you went past the Roosters? I can't go past the
Roosters and got them there, but I don't think they've reached their best yet either. Like, consistently, they're not playing. But they were against Parramatta. They didn't get out of first gear, but they also scored conceded some soft tries and relied on some sin bins. And every week we're waiting for them to put 50 or 60 on someone again. They haven't seemed to do it. They really should have done it on Friday night. But yeah, I'm going Melbourne and the Bulldogs this close. I'm going Melbourne and the Bulldogs grand final.
Well, Jess, you know what? The other two have had their say. We may as well have our say as well. So go on. What are you thinking at the moment for the big spots?
Well, I can't knock anything Adam said, to be honest, especially about Melbourne. They just get the win. That's what they're doing. They're gritty and they get the win. It's not extravagant. It's not massive, and they're not putting a show on. They just get the points and they're winning. And it's like, shit, if they can actually, you say they're not clicking, like, fair enough, they might not be clicking to the sort of tempo that the Roosters are when they're putting 50 plus on someone, because their attack hums very comfortably, but they let a lot of tries in. And I suppose Melbourne sort of do the same, but they always seem to find a way to win. So I reckon Melbourne will make the grand final. I can't write Penrith off. It's impossible. You know what I mean? Even if Cleary comes back for the grand final, I think he's the man of the match in the grand final again. Like, he's just inevitable. So, yeah, it's one of those, you can never write Penrith off, regardless who's even there too. Like, they've done really well without him this season. Funnily enough, like, Cleary's best player, realistically, at the time in the comp when he's on, and they've just been fine without him. They've been just doing their work. So if he does come back early enough, then I think they get a good run. If they do make it to the grand final, he's still not there, then I think that shows they've got a lot of grit about him as well. And I think that's probably a lot of confidence for the other players. I'd love to see. I just love to see something different, but it's very hard. Roosters Dogs grand final would be heaven on earth, I reckon, if it came to. But any of the top four, as far as the Storm, Penrith, Roosters, and the Dogs, I think they're all in as much of a chance as each other. I'd really like to see the Dogs in the grand final, just for the club in general. I think it would be massive for them. But they're doing everything right, especially at the right end of the season.
Just one point you touched on there, Jesse, about Cleary. And obviously, Penrith doing their job, then Cleary coming back, and that he's had two pretty big clutch moments since he returned against the Dolphins, against Parramatta. That I'm going to be safely say that no other halfback in the comp could have come up with the way he got his teams to win that game. You actually take those two games away, because they wouldn't have won it without him if he didn't come back, and that's in the position they are now. They haven't got him. They drop back to equal fifth with Canterbury, and they're literally 1 win, 1 loss off 7th. So you got to that against him.
If the game played out exactly as it would have, and you just substitute the player of Cleary out for anyone else, the game would have been entirely different had Cleary not been there anyway. It would have been a different approach in general. So I suppose it could be one of those complacency things where Cleary's back and you kind of let him run the show like he wants to. And, the game got away from him against the Melbourne Storm the other night when Cleary went off. And it's like, well, I suppose you're relying on that. If you go in there with the approach of Luai, being as confident as he was, running the halves when he was too, with Jack Cole specifically too. I don't know the Schneider play. I don't really like it. It's a completely different game. It's a whole different game. And you can't really just say, Cleary, fair enough, he clutched it out and he freezes the goat for it. But who knows? He may not needed to take that kick at that time. It could have been a fully different outcome. So, but yeah, if they do drop to 5th, that's pretty wild.
Well, I think they'll struggle too.
Yeah.
Bit more news around it. There possibly could be a second Immortal tonight. So stay tuned, guys. I said there just seems a bit weird. I feel like there is another one coming, and we will quickly have a debate about that. But just for me, quickly, there's two ways to look at the Nathan Cleary thing. I know what Adam's saying, and I do agree with it in a way, but I also think about the other games he's been missing, and Luai has really stood up this year. I've been one of his biggest critics, and I've been super, super impressed by what I've seen from Jerome Luai this year. But this is another test for him. This is that next level now. These are the serious games, and it'd be interesting to see if he can handle it and if he can continue to be at that level, because he's not going to have to be at that level. He's going to have to go to another level now and make sure he gets his team to a point where Cleary can come back. He will not be 100%, so he'll have to do a bit more of the load, Jerome, when he is there. And just be interested to see what happens. I'm not prepared to write Penrith off yet. Their players just seem to know what to do and how to do it. So I 100% agree with the Melbourne Storm. They just, for mine, haven't played their best game all year, and they're sitting first by 2 wins now. It's really scary. I don't think there's been a game where you can, even Trav would probably honestly say he hasn't been super impressed by pretty much any performance, but they just keep winning. They just win every game, and it's remarkable that it's even more impressive that every big game so far this year against a big opposition, the Storm have come out and won that game. They just win those games that they need to win. It's same thing against the Penrith Panthers on the weekend. I know that Cleary got injured with that last 15 or so, but goodness me, it was an impressive game. But before they get to that second Immortal, let's get to some of the discussion about it. So I'll read out the list of 11 players. So it's that's the new Hall of Fame. I've already got the Hall of Fame. I need to find the Immortals. As before, while I find that, I'll go to Trav. Travie boy. There's a lot of rumors that there'll be a second Immortal now announced tonight. Now, as I said, the podcast listeners are going to look back on this and probably laugh at us because we're going to predict things that have already happened, but that's just the way this cookie crumbles, guys, unfortunately. Tell me who you think should be the second Immortal if it is unannounced tonight.
I think it'll be Lockyer.
Okay.
Great.
Do you agree with that?
I'm ready to go to fight you, and you come out and say something that makes sense. Fuck.
Do you agree with that, though?
No, I don't. I don't agree with Lockyer, but I'm just glad he didn't say Cameron Smith. Because obviously my belief is that Cameron Smith should never be made an immortal. I think the whole thing needs a complete way they do it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's rough.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think if they make him one, I think there's a long list of players that need to be made before him, and obviously the more players they make, the less prestigious it becomes to be an immortal. Because what are we up to in the Hall of Fame? We're up to 121, I think, with whoever the last one was, Cooper Cronk, to be put in there. Or obviously they've done some women's one as well, so 123. Now, if we get up to with the fact we've got 25 or 30 immortals and only 140, 150 Hall of Fame people, it's just, it doesn't have the level of prestige it should. And I think it's disrespectful for the players that played the game fairly. And I'm not saying what he did on the field. I obviously have a lot of respect for the type of player he was. But the simple fact is he was still involved in the biggest cheating scandal in Australian sport ever. He was the captain of a club. And I don't want to hear this shit that he didn't know what was happening. They were innocent. It was the club doing it. I'm sorry, but if a boat turns up to your fucking front door, you're not meant to get that. If a car turns up, if you get given money and land to build a house, you're cheating. And the fact he was involved in that, the players that played the game fairly in a different time where there wasn't as much money involved, like your Ron Cooch who's gotten out, your Brett Kenny's, Peter Sterling's, even, Lockyer as well. Like Darren Lockyer played the game fairly. You don't know, taking away everything that happened at Melbourne across that period of time, if Cameron Smith still would have turned out the same player. Even look at Queensland's record. Do you reckon Queensland would have been as dominant? They had all those players at Melbourne playing together, and they carried combinations across to State of Origin. If they couldn't keep them all and they had to actually, had a fair salary cap, you don't know that Queensland would have been that dominant. And I can see him seething, but I'm making some fucking valid points. You don't know. Like,
I don't know.
my belief. This is my belief.
You're sitting there and living in hindsight to continue to keep living your life in hindsight. Like that's ridiculous. They're ridiculous statements. You're living in a what if.
But it's the truth, isn't
what
it?
if? Do you
That's
constantly live your day of what if I had gone and bought the right lotto ticket 2 weeks ago? I'd be a fucking 100 millionaire. Like, come on now.
You wouldn't do that cheating.
Statements.
You wouldn't do that cheating. You can't cheat
What if
to win
they're
lotto.
given the winning lottery
But he's
ticket?
still. But he
These
has
are the winning numbers.
What you're saying is that he had no talent because he was given a boat, apparently, or because he was the captain. He knows everything that's going on, and blah 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 blah. Or let's not repeat what you had said because I can't be bothered. That he doesn't have the talent. He never had the talent. Whatever. Like
he's got the talent. He's got the talent, but he had an unfair advantage.
Oh, bullshit.
He had an unfair advantage over everyone else playing the game.
Right, they got called out. He was a player. He got called out for it. The club got called out for it.
So
and the Storm aren't the only club. The Storm aren't the only club to have done stuff like this. So come on.
No one did it as well,
but
did
the
they?
Storm did.
And
No one did it as well. So what? Like it's
Hang on a second, please. Hang on a second. Hang on. So let me talk about Cameron Smith's stats for a second. I want to talk about this. 430 NRL games, 42 origins for Queensland, 56 tests for Australia. Then there's accolades, which honestly, if I sat here reading the accolade list right now, I would be here for about 5 minutes. Now, I understand the whole argument about the cheating and stuff and how that looks for the game and stuff, because we're talking about the Les Boyd thing that's been in the media and stuff, and there's other ways to look at things, and I get it. But those numbers speak for themselves, in my opinion. And he's arguably the best player to ever play the game. Now, I think Johns is just ahead. That's my personal opinion, because for what I've seen Andrew Johns do on the field, no one's ever done that. He's literally carried some teams that literally would probably either get wooden spoons or origin teams that weren't nothing special and got him to wins. And he was just an absolutely special player. And I know a lot of people bring up with Johns about obviously his off-field antics, but my argument is if he can play that good hungover, we've all been hungover before, goodness me, imagine if he was sober. That would have been a scary sight. So for mine, the numbers for Cam Smith, did he know about the cheating? We'll never know until one of them wants to come out and be truthful about it. No one knows the full story there about what happened. What I'll give him credit for is, damn, he was a very, very good football player. And I'll argue wherever he played, he showed time and time again just how good he was. And any time people in the media were at his on his case about how he played and putting pressure on him, he came out that next week and would always shut the haters up every single time. He was that good, and I don't agree with him being in the Immortals at the moment. I think it's too early for him. I don't think he needs to be waiting 20 years or something. I think that's been unfair. While there's people like now Ron Coote, while there's the Brett Kennys in the world, arguably Alfie Langer, those sorts of players who still haven't got it, for mine, they need to be given the honour first. And then these sorts of players like Cam Smith, JT and stuff, fingers crossed, touch wood, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're in great careers with the media and that we're all going to be knowing about them for some time. I just think it might be a bit early for these guys. Jesse, what are your thoughts before we let the other two continue on?
Yeah, well, that's it. I think when you start actually looking at Cam Smith and his record, it's undeniable he's the best player there has been in the NRL. As much as you want to say the cheating scandal and this and that, you can't ignore it. It's undeniable. He will be an Immortal at some point. I don't think it should happen immediately, considering he's been out of the game for a few years. And these other blokes, 75 plus garbage men, you know what I mean? Like back when footy was old school footy, it's very different to the game it is now. So, you respect the legends of the game gone, I suppose, in the time frame that it's relevant, and it has been. And these guys are up for the status of Immortal now. I think, Cam Smith's going to be involved in the game for the next 30 plus years in general anyway. So there's plenty of due time for it. And I think by then, a lot of people are probably going to let that whole cheating thing go, I would imagine. I thought it would have been done by now, to be fair, when you just consider him. But I think if you, like for Adam's point, to be like, it should never happen, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like you look at the other players, everyone else was there too. I suppose you can't consider them all in the same, can't put them all in the same boat as Cameron Smith, but you can't just rule it out over how long was it? A couple of seasons, a season?
4.
2.5, I think.
4.
2 years.
It was a few
4.
years.
Yeah.
So what? The guy
6,
played for what? How long did he
You
play
can
for?
say so, but for Paris supporters, it still hurts
Earlier.
because that was our chance.
Didn't play enough. Wasn't good enough.
The point I'm trying to make is I know what he did on the field. I know how good a player he was, on the field. When you're talking about the highest accolade in our game, you ask any fan that's not a Melbourne fan, they don't look at Cameron Smith. The first thing they think about Cameron Smith is, how good he was. They think, the bloke refereed the game. And they think, he was involved in the cheating stuff. And that's the truth about Cameron Smith. And take away the ref thing, that was obviously a slight little dig, but every neutral fan of the game will think about him as the cheat. And I don't think he deserves to be Immortal for that reason. And look, 430 games, I get it. 100 of those probably shouldn't have counted, in my opinion. Because
still more than most, even if it was 330.
Still 330. And he would have played there for another club. So what does it matter?
330 is great, but he doesn't compare to the other stats of some of the other players, like your Coote. What he win, 6 premierships?
Hang on, why doesn't the 430 games count? I'm confused by that. Why should he have 100 less?
Well, they got cheating for 4 years and they got stripped of all their points. Why do the games
he would have been
count
another club. He would have kept
playing. He would have been. And he should have been another club, but he wasn't because he chose to cheat.
I suppose that comment he put up, like, what qualifies for an Immortal?
Well, that's the biggest thing I think they should have changed. Yeah.
That's my next part to this, is that I actually feel like, and it's going to be very controversial me saying this, but for this modern day greats, and I'm talking Thurston, Cronk, Smith, Slater, Inglis, Sam Burgess, Paul Gallen, like the list can go on. There's a number, like that's a number of very, very good players there. What Adam's gone, he's had enough of talking about this.
Does Paul Gallen get considered? Consider the peptide scandal?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm trying to say with this point is there's like 6 players that could technically be eligible for this Immortal status. I don't think all 6 can go in. Like there's got to be a choice there in this decade. You choose probably the best, maybe the second best. And that's it. You can't be putting all of these players in.
No. But why? No, I don't agree. I don't agree. So I'm with you very much so, Joel, but I don't agree that it should be a hard and there should be a hard and fast rule. 100%. There should be some hard and fast rules. But if there's 10 like Immortals in one generation of players, then 10 should be in. Like we need to recognize the talent.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be just going, there's one amazing talent. These guys were all really good too, but because they're born at the same time frame as the other guys, we won't put him in. No, I don't agree with that. I think we need to recognize what we've got and the talent that's there. And so they all should be put in. And I'll take a step back. The reason why I don't think Cam Smith should be in is because he's only inducted to the Hall of Fame right now. Right now, in the last hour, he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And therefore, he now needs to sit on that and wait a little while and then get inducted into the Immortals, or the next step. We need to wait for that. But I don't think we should discredit the talent because there was just as good talent or better talent at the same time, and then wait and make them wait and have a cap of numbers. I don't agree with that.
Jesse?
That's fair. Yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly, to be honest, as well. I think obviously, like, I'm a massive football fan in general, soccer to some. And you see it, like, you see generational talent come through and you think, holy shit. And you compare incredible players to these GOATs, Messi, Ronaldo, that kind of thing. But there are those players that come up through the ranks every generation, like maybe not to that level, but there are incredible people that stand out amongst the rest. And if they are incredible players, then they stand out and then they should be rewarded for it. But yeah, and like you grab these guys too, and it's very different. Like this game now, they train, they're paid through the arse, it's their entire life. Where to the Immortals that they are actually naming now, they were part timers. Like they had things to do outside of it. It wasn't what it is now. So when you start looking at talent per se from one player to another, like there would be much more talent these days than there was back then. There has to be. There's more in the game than there was. So do you compare talent now to then? Like you can't. It's got to be relative. And I think if you've got that group of players that are worthy of the status, then they should be Immortals for it.
If there is a second Immortals tonight, Jesse, who do you think it will be? We've got one vote for Lockyer.
I was thinking Lockyer as well, to be honest. I suppose it could be a recency bias to a thing. I watched Lockyer play. I didn't watch any of these other guys play. I haven't seen them. I know the names. I see the records come through. I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. So that's probably swayed. Hey.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably why
I haven't. And I haven't followed the game for long enough to watch over the history of stuff like I do with the basketball sides of things that I have. Like, I do. Yeah. So I can't comment on those things that have happened way past the history.
Yeah, I see a lot of merit around Brett Kenny.
The Immortals vote on it? Is that how it works? The Immortals vote on who the next Immortal is? Isn't that what the controversy was over with them?
No, the controversy there was that the Immortals weren't even told about tonight. They weren't even asked to be to consider.
Because I know Johnson's gone up. No, I didn't step away because I had the shits about Kevin Smith. I stepped away because a young fella was bawling his eyes out on the bathroom floor. So no idea what was going on there. Must have had a bad dream about Parramatta going to win another comp and getting cheated by another team. Anyway,
here we go. Can you just leave it in?
It's going to be a sad life in your household, and you bring them up to be sad for the rest of their life.
Yeah. At least he's going to send the Swans win a comp this year, hopefully.
Yeah, let's go.
Brett Kenny will be
the only thing that we've got in common, Adam, is that we're Swans fans, and I'm a massive Swans fan.
There you go.
Up the Giants.
Adam, who do you think will be if there is a second Immortal tonight? Who do you think will be the second Immortal?
Like I said, the point I was trying to make, I think it should be awarded to those that walk so we could run in a way and acknowledge the past because. When I come back, I heard Jesse saying it was a completely different game, and these blokes did it and played the game. Like, let's look at Brett Kenny or just that Parramatta era of players. They won those 4 comps while still working. They weren't professional athletes, and technology in the game, sports science has changed so much. Obviously, the ball itself has changed so much. Like, they weren't the professional athletes we know now, and it'd be freakish to think that. And look, it could go the opposite way. We don't know, but. Freakish to think the natural builder they had, how good they could be in the modern game. And I kind of wish they were all born 30 years later, so I'd be seeing that now instead of hearing about how good they were. But go back and watch the highlights, some of the stuff they did. But I've got a funny feeling it's going to be Lockyer because I feel like the NRL like to do this kind of, the last time they've done it last year, they did obviously. Who was the last two? It was Mal Meninga and Messenger, wasn't it? Daily Messenger.
I think that was the
The
year they
last
actually did like 4 at once or something. I was pretty sure.
Yeah, like I said, they just jumped. There was not one for so long, and that's the point I was trying to make before I had to walk away. But I'll get to that. Lockie up, I think it should be Brett Kenny, just based on what they did to that era. I think that the whole thing needs to be changed. I think there should be a certain thing to obviously reach immortal status, which could be, like I discussed this last night in Talking Para. I think Nathan Cleary will be the next player we see reach immortal status in the current game. And it should be that you've had to win 3 comps or something, or play a certain amount of games, or represent your country and your state so many times. And then I feel like when that person retires, that's when the presentation should happen that year, if they've reached it. Because, you're seeing blokes get announced now that either aren't alive in some circumstances or can't really enjoy it. Like, they can't really enjoy, the prestige of being there and being part of it. I just think it's a better way they need to do it. Like, I don't like it. And, just to we're going to do one from the past and one from the recent modern game, it just means that, let's say they wait another 3 years to do more of them or whatever, they do more next year, whatever, and they do 2. Like, you could have your blokes like Kenny and stuff being late in their 70s before they actually get this achievement.
Yeah, I'll choose Brett Kenny because I've been told a number of things by Dad and Pop about just how good he was as a player. And I'm pretty sure I read this today, but Wally Lewis was actually interviewed and he had Brett Kenny as his choice. And people argue that Brett Kenny is the best 5'8" of all time. So if he's saying that about Brett Kenny, I'll take his word every day of the week. So for mine, I just want to make one point. And I know when people are talking about all these older players and the older generations and stuff, totally respect it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all with this statement, but I want to reach something that I haven't heard anyone talk about, which I think is an interesting point. We're all talking about these Dragons players, for instance, and how good they are, their premierships that they've won. Let's not forget that was a non-salary cap era as well. So they all basically stayed together.
Cameron Smiths.
Oh, shut up for a second. Stop with your hatred and just let someone
You
talk.
set me up as soon. I knew you were going
horrible.
there.
You get stuff in your head. You're like my stepdaughter. You just get stuff in your head and you just hold on to it. The Dragons era, they all just stayed together. They were the best players of that era, and they're all in one team each and every year, dominating the comp. So I know they had a fantastic record, and there's no doubting how good of players they were. But if we're going to compare records, no one in the modern era will ever get to that. That's why what Penrith are currently doing in a salary cap era is absolutely incredible, in my opinion, and it should be rated right up there, like really right up there. And I know what Adam's saying to a degree about Nathan Cleary, and he'll be probably that next one. I know there was comments about he hasn't dominated Origin yet, but that'll come, no doubt about it. He's still pretty young, and 3 comps in a row, like, goodness me. I just feel like everyone wants to talk about the past, and that's great, but there's also some rules that have changed since, and I get that, like, there's just pros and cons for every era, and I just feel like that's why we need to be getting, I don't know, we need to balance it a bit better with how we do, I think, the immortal status. The next one that's going to be controversial, Latrell Mitchell. So I think tomorrow is the final day where he gets to answer South Sydney's basically please explain notice that they've given to him. Look, at the moment, I want to ask the tough question about Latrell Mitchell. Is it time that South Sydney basically rip up the contract and say, you know what, it is just too hard. It's time to just part ways? Or the fact that Wayne Bennett's coming there next year, is it worth giving him another shot? I feel like we've said this a couple of times about Latrell now, and trying to put that premiership hunt or that glory ahead of perhaps the right call. I know it's pretty harsh to say, but the amount of chances he's been given. Jesse, you're South Sydney, you're the boss of South. What are you doing with Latrell at the moment? Because to be fair, they've got probably reasons to sack him right now.
Oh, 100% they've got reasons to sack him. They've had reasons to sack him for freaking ages. I think they've just been persisting. And they haven't got much else to work with. I think you just got to give it 1 year with Bennett. But then again, like, this is the time to do it. If you want him out, this is the perfect opportunity. But I just don't feel like they're going to put themselves in a better position not having him. Especially not with Bennett coming in. I suppose someone will follow him well enough anyway. You might get Trey Fuller, drag him along from the Dolphins, and there's your fullback comfortably anyway. But yeah, shit. I feel like, yeah, you can't be sacking Latrell. You know, like he's got that oomph about him. Like he's got that name, he's got that X factor. I suppose it's a tricky one because he has really pushed it too many times, more than any other player I reckon would be able to get away with. To be fair, so
He's just
can't get it right.
well, yeah. I remember me and Adam actually spoke about this on I think the live show at the start of the year, and we felt for Latrell, and I was so keen to see him this year. But after seeing those stats about he's hardly played more than I think 15 games in a season so far for South, and he's been there for what 5 years now, and are they getting value for money? If I'm being brutally honest, no, they're not. And he just always is towing that line of going over it or just staying basically on top of it, basically kneeling over and about to fall. So I don't know, Adam. Yeah, you're the boss of South. I know you love making the hard decisions. What decision are you making here with Latrell?
I think I'm getting rid of him while I've got the chance, but they won't do it. The money he's on, if they rip up his contract as well, it's obviously huge for the club to be able to looking to sign someone else. And look, he'll get a contract offer pretty quickly elsewhere. Like I'd say now, I'd take him at Parramatta, straight in the centres where he should be playing. Wayne's got a hard call to make, and if Wayne comes down and can't get the best out of him, and we've heard it before that, you know, I'm trying to be incredibly careful how I word this, but there's a certain group of South Sydney players that don't want to listen to their coaches. They didn't want to listen to, I fucking forgot his name. Who was their coach at the start? Demetrio?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Sam Burgess.
Anyone listen
They want to listen to
Sam Burgess?
Sam
They don't want to
Burgess.
listen to Sam Burgess either. Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of players they didn't want to listen to. A lot of coaches they didn't want to listen to. Like, who says they're going to listen to Wayne Bennett? And, if Bennett comes down and they can't fix Latrell's attitude, because I think a lot of it is an attitude problem, why he makes these poor choices, you can only make so many poor choices, then, like they haven't got the get out clause to get rid of him. Reason I don't think they will do it is because, as I mentioned earlier, people that kind of run the South Sydney club, it's a target area for South Sydney. I don't think it'll be a good look for what the club's trying to achieve.
Trav, what are your thoughts on this one? Would you be saying bye-bye to Latrell while you have the chance to? You're giving him one final chance. I just feel like Latrell's at the point of his career now. He's a family man, kids, missus, wife. Been given these sorts of warnings before. He's had a couple of incidences this year already. Those F-bombs on Triple M radio, getting involved with the Ezra Mam stuff when basically there was probably not much need for him to get involved there, and got really hands-on with that situation. I feel like he just loves this drama, yet he keeps telling everyone how he's turned the corner and he's a new man and he's wants to get on the straight and narrow, but for mine, he clearly doesn't. Like, he's injured, he's out Dubbo, doing a great thing. He was obviously at reportedly at a kids' clinic. It was a night after it, and still, though, you're injured, you're drinking. One no, you shouldn't be doing that. Most athletes know that by now. It hurts recovery and doing the other stuff as well.
Straight and narrow.
What do you think, Trav?
I don't think they should get rid of him. I think they should rip up his contract and put him on a pretty strict 12-month contract and say, you've got some pretty big clauses here and here's your last chance. But like literally it's very strict, very, very strict. Like, yeah, that's what I think they should do. I don't think South can afford to lose him either. I think he brings too much to that club. He offers too much for the fact that he's such a big Indigenous player, and what he brings on that side of the outside off the field, I think is a really big play. And we all know that he's got Bennett coming. So I think I think they should rip up his contract and put something in front of him that says, here's 12 months with some pretty strict clauses, and say, pull your bloody head in and off you go. But what I will say is I think the only difference with him is that he's just been caught. There'd be others. There'd be hundreds. There'd be 100 odd other players that are doing the same thing probably every other night, and they just haven't been caught. Like, so, yeah. I think we probably shouldn't be as harsh on him in terms of that. But obviously, Mr. Mitchell has had many, many, many chances. But yeah,
I think
I feel
the
like
thing with him,
though,
he seems to attract it. So he needs to be like, I
yeah.
know this is bad to say, but he needs to be more careful. And you're right. There's people out doing it every weekend. You know, it's more common now than going and getting blind is people going out and doing coke. But I just think knowing the profile player he is and the fact that he does go unfairly treated and targeted, in my opinion, that people are looking to make a quick buck, especially out in Dubbo.
yeah,
And they've thrown him under a bus for some money, and he
Yep.
needs to be more careful and not put himself in those situations.
Yep.
He's got to be better. He needs, after everything he's been through so far. I'm sorry, he just needs to be better. He's on massive money at South. I'd be ripping his contract up. I actually think Jai Gray is quite a good player. I'd be putting a lot of time and effort into Jai Gray and his career development over the next year or two. I just think South, in my opinion, have been run by players like Latrell for too long now, and they haven't had any control over Latrell Mitchell. He's basically done whatever he pleases because the club's scared to lose him because of the media factor and I guess the money side of it with having Latrell at that club. I think he's been off the rails for a while now. I think he's just taken South Sydney for a bit of a ride, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I know that sounds quite harsh, but as I keep saying, it seems like they've just continued to have these sorts of chats with Latrell. He promises them the world, and then in 3-4 months' time, something else happens. The
Roosters wouldn't have stood for it. I'll put it that way.
Well, that's the argument you go back to. Like everyone thought the Roosters had rocks in their heads when they let him go, but obviously Robinson knew him and knew the type of character he was, and just thought, you know what, we're probably better off without him. Like they haven't won a comp since he's left, but at the same time, they've probably been a lot more consistent than South have, and they've had their better players on the park, and they've had Teddy on the park a lot longer than, say, Latrell's been on the park. It's harsh to say, but I just think there's sometimes clubs need to make these hard calls to put everyone else into line. And like I mentioned the Sam Burgess thing the other day, just before when Adam was talking, but remember, he left South Sydney last year and after that massive argument and fallout because he actually spoke up in the club meeting and told him that these players are taking the club for a ride, basically, and not meeting the standards that they had set in place. We're talking about Immortals and Hall of Famers. So the Inglis's, the Sam Burgesses had in place for this club to follow. He's gone there again as a coach, and he's gone, it's all fallen down. It's a completely new club. And this is led by those sorts of players. He's supposed to be a leader there. He's supposed to be the main guy there. He's supposed to be he hasn't got the C next to his name, but he's the captain of that club. He's the face of that club. You've got to be making better decisions. You can't blame someone for taking the photo. You shouldn't have been putting yourself in that situation to start with. There's no point blaming someone else for your stuff up.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But
I just,
they use Metro said the same thing. Everyone's still doing it. It's just you need to be aware. It's like you're not some random center that plays for the Tigers. You know what I mean? Like you're Latrell Mitchell. People know who you are. Like, just
shout out to your West Tigers centers.
Shout out to the West.
They're revolving doors. No, that's right. They're revolving doors. They change every week.
I hope the West Tigers centers have a great weekend doing coke this weekend, guys. You've just got permission from Jesse because no one knows who you are.
Yeah, well, they change all the time. So what do you do? No.
Trav, you had something to say on it?
No, you touched on exactly what I said last week in the live show as well, is that, there is enough education out there for these players since basically the day that they're either picked up or thought to be picked up. There's enough training and education. I think there's a different element with Latrell Mitchell and his background, and obviously being Indigenous as well, that we sort of got to bear in mind too. But I agree with what you said there. But I don't think though that it should be just cut the lines and off we go. I think there's got to be let's cut the lines, but here's some clauses and we'll figure it up now.
I'm talking about.
Did you do that on purpose?
Doing contact.
I did. Did you like that? Did you like it?
I did. Yeah.
Oh goodness me. Yeah. I'm going to change up the way this agenda is tonight. So next up, we just quickly Jesse mentioned his Roosters, and I'm going to throw it in first. Sam Walker, there's reports out today that he's going to actually go to the open market and test his value, see what he's worth, see what clubs are willing to pay for him, got no doubt. A lot of people have been talking about it. I think the Broncos will go in hard for him with Reynolds potentially a year or so away from calling it quits. I think there'll be another Queensland club, whether it's the Titans or the Dolphins, will probably go quite hard for Sam Walker. And no doubt there'll probably be a couple of the Sydney clubs that will probably entertain him as well. As a fan, you've probably watched Sam Walker the closest out of all of us. What do you think he's worth at the moment, and what would you be happy with the Roosters spending in their cap to keep him?
I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest. I think the Roosters will re-sign him and they'll put him on $1 million a year. I think it's valid, to be fair.
Do you reckon that's enough?
Enough? God. Freaking hell. Like,
I reckon
who's
it's
getting
too
$1 million?
much.
Exactly. Some
Yeah,
people
I'm
will
with
say
that.
it's too much. Yeah, I just think there's no halves, man. There's nothing left. Like, you got to retain the talent you've got.
That's
And
why I reckon you pay up.
well, that's the thing too. Like, I would be starting if I saw $1 million, I'd be like, I'm fine with $1 million. To be fair, they've got the cap space. You can always laugh about the Roosters and their unlimited cap, but they've got a lot of players leaving and they've got a lot of money to spend. To be fair, and the sombrero will never stop. But yeah, dude, $1 million. That's it. There's no halves. You got recycling old blokes now, and there's nothing left. And the ones coming through, they're just not quite there. But he's shown this year that he's worth it, I reckon. So
The fact
I'd
that
be
there's
happy.
not much halves on the market and they're all basically retiring in the next 2 years, the good ones anyway, I actually think the Titans or the Dolphins, for instance, would be throwing upwards of 1.2 for him. I'd honestly believe that. I think he's on the upwards trajectory of being one of the elite halfbacks of the competition. He's still quite young. This year he's been sensational. Trav, what do you think about this one? What would you be looking at paying him if the Storm, for instance, lost Hughes and Munster went up to the Dolphins to get his retirement fund for a couple of years? Or would you be happy with the old bellyache signing him for? He'd probably get him for 400 and say, we'll get you into finals
We'll win
football
your
and we'll
premierships.
We'll get you a boat.
We'll put a Porsche in your driveway.
That's
So you won't know about
I
it.
don't. I don't think he's worth $1 million. I don't, but he will get paid at least $1 million, if not more, from the Titans and that, because there, as Jesse said, there isn't as many big time dudes like that can play that spot. And the Titans and the Dolphins need someone like him. That's what they've got to get. So that's why they have to pay for him. But I don't think he's worth that. I think he'd be about 800. I think 800 is a really good value for him for now with his age. And I know you're trying to, like what you said, Joel, that you got to pay up for him because he's so young and you lock away someone that age. But I also think he's only so young. I think he's still got a lot to prove. I don't think he has been sensational this year. I think he's been good, but I don't think he's been sensational. And I don't think he's actually the face of it. I don't think he's been the face. I don't think he's the face of a team yet, which is why you're not paying him more than $1 million or plus.
Adam, you balked at the $1 million price.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. But like Jesse touched on, severe shortage of halfbacks is going to be, worth what someone's prepared to pay for him. I think he said I'm going to Brisbane. Just a bit of a feeling I get, obviously with the nostalgia around that. But I think Brisbane are the ones with an interesting choice to make to actually chase him. It's hard now because obviously Ezra Mann is out injured for the rest of the season, I believe. But Reynolds, had the injuries, and I guess we'll probably retire at the end of next year. And it's too late for him to make that decision then. If Ezra is going to be a halfback, if he's not going to be a halfback, they need to chase one. And I guess, chasing one of their great players, Suns and all this kind of stuff, the nostalgia around Sam Walker going back to Brisbane or going to Brisbane could be huge. It's a very interesting choice to make. I think if the Roosters were to let him go, if they got into a bidding war and they were to let him go, they'll be fine. They're the Roosters. The next hot young talent that comes on the scene, they'll chase. I don't think the Dolphins need him. I think Katoa's going to be just as good a player as him at the Dolphins, and the Titans have got, a couple of good young players coming through as well that they can obviously do something with. The Roosters, if they lose him, we all know they're going to sign Mitchell Moses for 2 years at the end of his career, throw the big bucks at him and just wait for that next young kid to come on the scene and get him.
Uncle Nick. Yeah, look, I honestly think he'll be getting upwards of $1 million. I reckon 1.1 he'll sign his next contract for, and there'll be clubs out there that actually will pay that. So I won't be shocked if he leaves. I reckon Roosters won't play the game with him. I reckon Roosters will just put an offer on the table. I reckon it'll be around that $1 million mark, and they'll just say, take it or leave it. If we're not going to play silly buggers here, and off you go. So
An
sign
offer
it. You got
an offer.
an offer. they'll give him an offer. So, look, if he wants, he has the Roosters now in the palm of his hand. He can become that main guy there for the next 5 to 7 years and really build something there with the Roosters. I think that they're up for an interesting time for their club's sake for the next couple of years, with some of those quality players leaving this year and retiring or moving on. So I'm really excited, I guess, to see where that club goes, and Sam Walker should be a massive part of that. Bit of fun now. We've obviously got started the 100-meter sprint discussion, and that's obviously been up for topic and for discussion all week for the actual just 100-meter race. I took it a bit further. I actually thought it'd be cool to look at the relay side of things, and I love watching the relays at the Olympics. And I thought what would be cool would be stuff the 100-meter sprint. Let's do a relay for each team. And you've all voted. You've been voting in record numbers on the Instagram account, which thank everyone for getting involved. It's now the grand final. It's now the final for this, which is the Manly Seagulls up against the Gold Coast Titans. So head over to our Instagram page, give a vote in the story, and see who will take that out. Manly have Garrick, Lehigh, Hopewati, Kula, and Saab, while the Titans have Sami, Jojo Fafita, Keeney, and Khan Piera. Who do we think would take this out in the final? So everyone's voted. These are the two fastest teams in the NRL according to everyone out there, the fans. I'll start with Adam now. I'll left into last in the first one. Who's taking this out?
Who's the winner? Rugby League. Rugby League's the winner in that one. Just showcasing some fast players. It's fucking hard to pick. It's hard because you got to look at, obviously you see him as quick in Rugby League, but sprinting without a ball is a complete different thing. Are they sprinting with the ball to pass as the relay, or they
sprinting with a baton?
Straight out sprint. I'm going Manly. I'm going Manly on the back. Yeah, if they hold a ball, then pass it. Well, Manly could be in trouble because I've seen Saab catch some balls sometimes, and he seems to struggle. And the Titans, well, they're cursed now with the Hayden from Entertain House curse. So I don't know. I think I'm back in Manly, and because of the, I guess, junior sprinting careers of Saab and Cola, or whatever his name is. No, they're both junior sprinters.
Trav, who you got?
I got Storm. Oh, how did they not get through? God,
they got beat. They got beat by Manly.
Everyone fucking hates them besides you, and I agree. I had Melbourne as my strongest team. Coates.
I'm actually legitimately. I'm with you.
Yeah. I thought they would have been.
Melbourne got beat by Manly in the semi.
Yeah. So
it's like that year when Manly beat them 40-0 and they were cheating the cap. Remember, like even with cheating, they still got beat. So that's the last one. That's the last one for the night.
I'm going to go with Manly in this one. I think, and to be honest, I never even considered Gold Coast until last week when Jesse brought him up. And once he brought him up,
that's great.
Yeah, I looked through every team. I looked through all the list, and the Gold Coast was not on my list at all. And then I just didn't even think about it.
Their own fans forget they exist sometimes as well.
That's why they need to pay up for Sam Walker. So yeah, no, I go Manly. I think Kula, Saab, and Hopewati are just elite level speed, and then I think Garrick's the slowest one there, and I think Garrick's quicker than a couple of the Gold Coast boys. So yeah, Manly.
Yeah.
The thing is, even once Jesse's mentioned this, the last 2 weeks I've seen Jojo Fafita in a bit of space, and he can move. So yeah, you're onto something there, Jesse. You were onto something before any of us were. So well done. Do you back your boys in for the final though?
100%. Backing the Titans in. You blokes are nowhere.
Oh, look out!
What are you talking about?
You legit?
Just watching. Hey, no, look. Legit? I think you know what? No, I am legit because I was the one that said Titans, and they made it to the final, so I have to. And
you just brought them up. At the time, you didn't say they'd win. You just brought them up as an option.
Yeah, but they were my first option. They were like, who's the fastest
as well?
Titans.
if it like they had this race and the Titans drummer was there, no other drummers would be allowed in the stadium to obviously, get their team home. So massive advantage.
What are you talking about there, Adam? Sorry, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, the Titans. I can't see it because I'm blocked, and so is the talking para page. But apparently, the Titans have banned other opposition teams from bringing drums into their ground because they don't like when the opposition fans make more noise than. Just a newsflash for the Gold Coast
We're not very
Titans.
hard.
Every time I've ever been to a game or seen a game on TV, there's more opposition fans there than your own fans. Instead of trying to, I guess, stop fans from coming to games and making noise to opposition fans, do something to fucking grow your supporter base. Like, connect with your supporter base more, make your memberships cheaper, do something. Give away free fucking drums, vuvuzelas, whatever. Like, clappers like at the Swans, do something. Don't just take it out on the opposition fans. Like, your
Win a
team's actually going
400-meter
to be
relay.
better.
Get some
They're a
supporters.
team on the up. But, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
I don't know. I don't know what I should say here. I really don't know what I should say. I think I might leave this.
Tell what you want to say. It's 9:32. You'll be in bed by now. Big dog would have tucked him in.
I've been on a number of Titans games over the years since I've moved up here. Every time they seem to have a very good crowd and a great atmosphere. I'm sorry to say, but it's when they verse teams with a bigger supporter base. It's the Broncos, it's Parramatta, it's the Warriors. I believe this all started.
You don't have to aim every team. Every team has a bigger better supporter base.
I believe this started because of the Warriors game, though, because they came and packed it out and were so loud, and they just like you've got a little patch of fans there. Like, well, of course, any other fan base is going to come and make more noise than you. It's just natural. So I was there this year in the boxes, and you basically can hear the other side of the ground, and you can hear all the fans. And it was when Parramatta versus the Titans, and we're going shit this year, by the way. So we were still, for mine, much louder than the Titans were. So that's pretty embarrassing. But as I think Adam hits the nail on the head, if you want to grow your atmosphere and stuff, then grow your fan base. Don't ban people from bringing these things in and creating a great atmosphere. So,
sorry, I had to bring that one up.
Oh, Josh, can you give some context over this one before people get offended?
Yeah, Josh's legs don't work. That's why he can say that. He's allowed to. He's literally picking on himself and his own kind.
Get some questions in, guys. As you do that, boys, just a quick one. What do you think your match of the round for round 25 is? Give you guys some time to look at this quickly. I'm going to lock in the last game of the round. Dragons versus Sharks has to be. I'm actually going to be tipping the Dragons in this one. I feel like they're going to do enough to win. So, didn't really like the Sharks last week. I think the Dragons are on the up a bit. So I really like the Dragons this one. I think it's going to be a cracking game where hopefully drums aren't banned and there's a good atmosphere. Jesse?
I just had a look through the fixtures this week, and I don't like any of them except that game, to be honest. They're all a bit like, oh, okay, we'll just wait for next round. Dragons Sharks as well. And I'd be going the Dragons for this one too. It's surprising that they're paying so much.
Yeah, bit of early money there. I might after this do a quick bet. But gamble responsibly, guys. $2.27 at the moment. Sports bet. Ooh.
You win
Adam
some
for the Dragons to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$2.70.
Yeah,
$2.27.
$2.27. Serious.
Two overs.
Crazy.
Look, I can't go past this one. South Sydney and Newcastle. Going to be an absolute fucking clanger. We go, no, I'm joking. If you want to have a bet on that game, I'd suggest betting on over 20 errors. Look, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? I'm actually really looking forward to the St. George Cronulla game on Sunday, Arvo. I won't be able to watch it. I'll be at a FFA Cup soccer match for the Jets here in Maitland, but game of the round, definitely. Upset of the round. You want to upset of the round? Can I give you one?
I've got mine as well.
Yeah, Canberra to beat Penrith.
Wow.
That's
Canberra playing for the season. Penrith without Cleary.
I've got the
down there. A bit of revenge. I know they've obviously put some big scores on them.
I've got the Warriors doing the Dogs. Obviously, it's going to be renamed Sean Johnson
It's not
Stadium.
the game or the car park fight that's apparently happening.
Oh,
Who's heard
I've
that
seen
one?
that. I've read about that. That's a bit
Who's heard
intense.
that?
Calm down, guys. Calm
Yeah,
down.
Warriors fans are apparently going to bash Bulldogs fans in the car park after the
Yeah.
game, according to what's going around Facebook. Bulldogs fans being
Yeah,
told they've got to
chill
be
out.
careful.
That'd be
So
red hot. I'd love to see
revenge
that.
for Simon.
I'd pay for
We
it.
don't condone that stuff. Just love each other. It's all good. Mick, I'll see you in the comments. Send us a few questions, please. You know the drill. Non-footy related questions are the better ones. Give us a few before you leave. But yeah, I just have a feeling if there's ever a game that the Warriors get up for emotionally, it has to be this one. Sean Johnson's last game in New Zealand. The Dogs have to lose. They're on this massive run. They want to lose one before final. Surely. I just feel like this could be it. The Warriors, a little bit of a multi-wires into the Dragons, I'm feeling. Gamble responsibly.
They've been atrocious at home. They've been pretty bad with SJ in general. He hasn't been very good. Like, you rename the stadium for him and you put him in New Zealand. I just can't see the Dogs losing this game, genuinely. I really can't.
See. All right. Good work, Mika. You got a good one here. Do you sleep on your side, back, or stomach? Trav?
I know his answer. Michael sleeps on his stomach, but that's actually before he goes to sleep, so his wife can finish with him. But myself, I sleep on. It's funny. I've had to majorly change things up. I was always a right side sleeper, and I had shoulder surgery and got my bicep moved. So I actually lay on my right to go to sleep. But if I stay on my right, I wake up an hour later with pain. So just as I'm about to fall asleep, I turn to my left on my left side. So I'm a left side sleeper now.
Thanks for that life story, Trav.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm just straight out of back sleeper.
You look like a back sleeper.
So you're a snorer.
He's a deep snorer.
No, my wife hasn't told me I'm a snorer, but no, I just like sleeping on my back.
She's been polite.
Wow, I can't do it.
She's been polite.
Jessie,
She'd punch me if I was. I can tell you that right now.
I'd say more side than anything else. Honestly, I kind of just sleep where I lay. I could fall asleep right here if I tried, honestly. I can sleep on my back. I can just close my eyes and just go, and that's pretty good. I used to sleep face down all the time on my belly, head in the pillow, but I feel like lately I've not done that for a long time. So, yeah, I'm just going to call it in the middle, say side thing. But now that I'm actually thinking about it, I'm like, fucking hell, what actually way do I sleep? I'm asleep. I can't remember.
You don't sleep. You just keep going. You just keep watching Supercoach. You're one of those freaks.
That's exactly it. It's 4 a.m. and I'm fucking looking at my trades.
I noticed you forgot to do waivers last night, but that's a different story.
No, I didn't.
You didn't go anything?
I don't need to, mate. Team's that good.
Someone stole 2 players I wanted, but that's a different story. I'm a stomach sleeper. I sleep on my stomach. I don't know why, but yeah, that's just what I do. There was another one. Favorite movie character and why by Cody. Oh,
geez, that's pretty open, isn't it?
Probably that chick from High School Musical, because at that age I was like discovering good-looking chicks, and what was her name? Vanessa or something? Yeah, she was up there. Left side, strong side, the two. Remember the Titans characters?
Remember the Titans.
Simba has to be all time. The Lion, he's up there. He's my all time, I reckon, favorite character.
Coach Carter. Keanu Reeves in The Last Samurai. That was another one.
Keanu Reeves in anything, to be fair.
Oh, him in The Matrix was good too. Yeah. They're probably my 2.
Nicolas Cage in Con Air.
Oh,
when he gets out, his hair's gone.
Can we actually go first, Adam? And then I've got one more topic we'll finish on.
Happy Gilmore. Just Happy Gilmore in Happy Gilmore. Just for the quotes. And if we're going to do a female, because you sexualize the fuck out of it, Joel, just Megan Fox in Transformers. Just Transformers.
With the bonnet up?
That and the bike scene. It's Transformers 2. Yeah, I struggle to make it through Transformers 2 these days.
Just one
final one I'm going to ask is our underrated movie. What's a movie we just straight away think is very, very underrated when it comes to bringing? I've got one straight away. I'm going to say Armageddon. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but I reckon that is one of the all-time movies, and it hardly gets a mention, I feel like. Maybe the soundtrack as well. I love that. Bit of a sad moment as well. Obviously, chucked in there. You brings a grown man to tears. Who's got one? Who's got one?
It's a fucking hard question.
It is a hard
underrated.
question.
Underrated movie. Well, all I do is watch kids' movies these days. So I'm going to
Yes.
chuck
Hey,
something
cool.
out there, like Sing. You know, Sing the musical, like the
Yeah.
musical cartoon.
Oh,
Everyone that's got a
Quality
kid
movie.
knows it. It's a great
Quality
movie because
movie.
there's so much
And
adult
so-
humor in it. Eh?
Yeah, Sing 2 is good too. Yep.
You know
Yeah,
what's a good
100%.
movie? And I wouldn't say it's underrated because it is a freaking incredible movie. Law Abiding Citizen. With Gerard Butler.
I haven't watched it.
What?
Of course, you like Jared Butler because you look like him.
Well, that's the comment. It kind of got me going, but you
Yeah.
haven't seen it. Holy shit.
No.
Oh, dude. My God. Anyone in the comments, if you watch that, please tell Joel how good it is. It's a fucking incredible movie.
No, I
Oh,
haven't
and
seen
that's
it
the thing.
myself.
That's what I mean. It must be an underrated thing. It must, like, a lot of people that I know, I'm like, yeah, that movie's incredible. The T-Bone scene, pop, pop, pop. You'll shit yourselves. It's fucking incredible. Great.
Is that your
great
favorite
movie.
cut of meat, T-bone?
It is actually. It's up there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or
I haven't had a
Porterhouse, just
T-bone for years. I forgot that even
transitioning.
existed.
into the other. T-bones, yeah. It's pretty much
Yeah.
just pub food, isn't it?
Brisket
Anyway, I
for
think
me.
that was it.
Yeah, see,
You
look at
wanna
the boys. Incredible. Great
You,
movie.
you popped
Watch
this one
it
up, we
tonight.
didn't answer it. Oh, I like
Yeah.
this
Okay,
one.
sorry.
You half segued to it and then you just stopped.
Yeah.
One Scotch fillet, medium. I was always a medium well man because I don't like blood, but then I just decided one day that I hated things tasting dry.
You woke up.
Yeah, I still can't handle if it's
On his,
bleeding.
on his right side.
If it's bleeding, I don't. If it's bleeding, I don't touch it. Simple as that.
Jeez, must be sad
Okay,
week in your
let's
house.
Move on from there. Try-
I'm a 12-hour low and slow smoked brisket with a bit of magic dust over the top of it, a bit of apple juice spritz
All right,
every
Latrell
hour,
Mitchell.
and I'm sweet. There we go.
Yeah,
He was waiting
Trav.
for it. Don't worry, I've got more
Trav.
for you, Jesse. So this is all good.
That's all
I've
right.
got one more question for you about that. Have you got a smoker?
Yes, I do.
Now, if a brand new top of the range smoker turned up at your door from your work, but it wasn't part of your contract, would you accept it? Pretend you didn't know about it?
Hell yeah, I would.
Oh no.
You would, yeah. Would you know about it?
Yeah, I
Though?
would.
Oh no.
Hey,
All right, that's all.
I wouldn't even ask questions. I just go, oh fuck, yeah, here's a nice present for me. I'll take that. Let's put it in the back, quick.
Before anyone sees.
That's it. You know what? I'm done for the night. We are done for the night. Thank you, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I think a lot of people are out there watching the Immortals and stuff, but that's fine. I hope you all
Finished.
enjoyed that.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. Sweet. But there's only one then. So,
There's
Ronnie,
only one. They're all
Coot
shaking
was
hands.
it. So congratulations
Sam
to
Burgess
Mr.
shaking
Coot.
hands.
Thoroughly deserved.
Reckon-
Apparently, Sam Bird is back on the plane, first in to go coach on Friday. So good in for coming out. I know Wayne Bennett didn't even come down for that 1 hour flight to get his jacket tonight. So it's what it is. But thank you for listening. Really enjoy it. Thank you, boys. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Trav.
You can't
What?
bag out Wayne. He's coaching 2 teams at the moment. Give him a break.
Yeah, sorry. My bad. Love you, Uncle Wayne, but good luck on the weekend. You'll need it to make finals. Actually, I think there was one more starred. Sorry, Jesse sent it in to us earlier. We need to get to this one. Who gets the last final spot, Dragons or Dolphins?
Dragons.
Dragons.
Dragons. They'll win this week and then they've got the bye next week, don't they? At Combank Stadium on Saturday afternoon. They've got the bye. 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got it locked in.
Yeah, Dragons for mine as well. Thank you. There it is. Enjoy your footy on the weekend. We're gearing up for finals, so get in the good books because there's going to be about a month of just sitting on the TV each weekend doing absolutely nothing. So see you all when we see you.